Hey my beautiful souls, welcome back to Finding with Jessie, the life coach. I hope everybody's having a beautiful and fabulous day. If you are new here, my name is Jessie. I am a life coach and we talk a little bit about everything on this channel, from organizing your space to organizing your emotions to getting self-aware. So guys, today we are going to be speaking about radical acceptance. If you've never heard of radical acceptance, I'm going to give you the most briefest, clearest, straight point definition of what it is. And it is accepting a situation and reality for what it is. I spoke in my last video about accepting the true reality without justifying it and creating all these blocks within your vision. So what is so powerful about acceptance is that when you accept things for how they truly are, you stop the cycle of pain and suffering. One of the greatest reasons that people suffer in their life and go through cycles with people and situations, places, things, and they actually go through a lot of grief in their life is because they are not ready to accept radical acceptance. They're not ready to see the reality of the situation. And they wind up in cycles and going like this, like this, like this, like this, until what? They learn the lesson and see things for what they truly are. Everything you ever been involved in that caused you pain is because you could not accept the truth when it presented itself. It's like that saying from Maya Angelou: when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. So this is truth of acceptance. And it's not only acceptance towards people, but it's also acceptance in regards to situations and things you're getting involved in. If you accept the reality and the truth of what it is the first time, you save yourself the cycle that you go through of finding out and really embracing the reality at the end. A lot of people ask me why I'm always so happy and why my life is so peaceful. And you want to know why? Because I embrace radical acceptance. You show me who you are the first time, you do not get a second chance with me. That's it. You're cut off, and I move on with life. I get involved in something, it's not for me. I do not reject those uncomfortable feelings. I go and I take myself out of it. I accept things for what they truly are. There's a lot of reasons why a lot of people can accept reality for what they are. Here's just a few of them. Ego issues, fear, not wanting to be alone, not wanting to deal with uncomfortable feelings that come with the reality of a situation. The person who thinks that they could change another, save another, right? The savior complex. Bottom line is, when people don't want to accept reality for what it is because they do not want to deal with the uncomfortable feelings that come with it. Like when you learn truly what somebody is or who somebody is, you don't want to experience that pain, that unhappiness, that disappointment, right? You can't be wrong, so you justify it, right? You reject reality and you suppress those emotions, which at the end, if a person is not good for you or they're bad, right? What happens? You deal with those emotions at the end and they become worse. You make it worse for yourself because now you're deeper inside, right? You're deeper ingrained with this person. You have created some bond, maybe a trauma bond. And that, if you don't know what a trauma bond is, we could speak about that in another video. Let me know in the comments below. The bottom line is that we don't want to deal with these uncomfortable feelings and emotions that arise from facing reality. And what we do is we reject it, we make justifications for it, we look the other way, we turn away from red flags, and we just don't have a willingness to face it. And when those feelings that you were trying to suppress, that you did not want to deal with, that disappointment, that anger, that shame, that guilt, whatever the feelings are that are surrounding the situation that you do not want to deal with, guess what? It comes out anyway at the end when you have to reface the reality, and it's way worse than you ever imagined. That suffering that you did not want to deal with, that unhappiness, that sadness, that depression, it masks itself way worse when you finally get the courage to see things clearly and accept it. Not only accept it, but radically accept it for the reality that it truly is. By accepting situations as they truly are, for what they are, at face value, when you accept it the first time, And don't make justifications. Don't blind yourself to it. We can make our lives so much easier if you really think about it. Think of all the trouble and conflict and drama and unhappiness you could have saved yourself by accepting situations in your life that were not good for you, that were wrong for you, that did not sit well with you, red flags that you chose to ignore. Think about those times. Think about those times that you were so deeply ingrained in something. It presented itself the way it was the first time, but you didn't see it clearly because you didn't want to face it. Think about how way worse it was afterwards. Now think about how it would have been if you would have just accepted what you saw presented to you, what it was, the value of what it was, the worth of what it was in the beginning, and not deny it. You would have been a much happier person, wouldn't you? All those situations, when you accepted them in life, they were there to teach you a lesson. And one of the lessons was to accept things and reality for what it was. You don't want to suffer. You don't want to go through disappointments. When something is not for you, you reject it. You accept the reality and you move on. You have to have a willingness to actually want what's best for you in your life. In my last video of letting go, I talked about how we usually stuck in attachments because it's attached to fear. But when you do things for your highest good, that's attached to love. And this is exactly what you have to do when you want to align with radical acceptance. You gotta attach to the willingness to let loving situations and what's best for you into your life. What's going to grow you, what's going to make you happy, what's going to expand you, and not attach to things that you already see that there are issues in and try to make it better. If it's not what it is supposed to be when it has presented itself to you, then you should really consider, what are you accepting? When I talk about willingness, I mean willingness in all categories. Willingness to, like I said, accept what is best for you in a loving manner. Willingness to stop compromising. A willingness to stop fixing what is not your responsibility to fix. A willingness to fully engage in what truly makes you happiest. Willingness to observe your body, your stress levels, right? Because when we are presented with things that are not good for us, or we get involved, let's say, you're manipulated, you're tricked into something, you think it's best for you, and then you get involved and then you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. Well, you have to be willing to actually face that. Don't run from it. Don't be afraid to face it. So that willingness to, combat fear, right? That willingness to say this is not for me, and that willingness to walk away from whatever doesn't serve your highest good. You have a willingness to accept red flags for what they are. You have to have a willingness to actually embrace your intuition. Like I said, when something doesn't feel right in your body, your mind, your spirit, you feel drained, you don't feel at peace, you don't feel love, you feel like something is off, it's because it is. You might not be able to see it, but you'll be able to feel it. And that's all you need to know. Once you feel something is not right in your energy, do not doubt yourself. Do not doubt the lack of what you see for what you feel. If you feel it, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. You gotta have a willingness to face uncomfortable emotions, no matter how uncomfortable the situation is. If it's presenting itself to be something that is not real, or it's presenting itself to be something that's making you uncomfortable and keeping you in despair, right? This could even apply to, losing a loved one. Maybe you lost a loved one and you don't have that willingness to face reality that they are gone, right? You're keeping yourself stuck in grief and sorrow. The minute you start accepting the fact that they are gone and life is going to be different, and you start wrapping your head around that, things will change, right? So that's what I mean by acceptance. Acceptance, radical acceptance, can mean anything in your life, in any type of situation you're trying to deny the reality of the situation. It could be applied in many different ways, right? And everybody's situation is going to be different. But once you start accepting things for how they are, and that the fact they cannot change, and you start accepting that reality, things will start changing for you for the better. It might be uncomfortable at first, especially if you never had to do it before. If it's new to you to start saying no to things that are not good for you, it's going to feel uncomfortable in the beginning. You're going to piss off a lot of people. You're going to piss off people who benefit from you saying yes all the time. But is that best for you? No, it's not, right? So you have to accept the reality that certain people bask in the fact that you come last on your own list, right? Why? Because it's benefiting them. So when you say no, a lot of uncomfortable feelings are going to come up. A lot of conflicts and drama are going to come up. But you know what? That's only temporary. So that's something you got to weigh in as well. When you accept things for the reality it is, and you have to deal with uncomfortable feelings, yeah, you have to deal with those uncomfortable feelings. That disappointment, that grief, that sadness, maybe a little bit of depression when you start, saying no to things that don't serve you. But that's only temporary. When you think of it and compare it to the amount of time you will be engaged in this thing, and if you keep on accepting it and allowing it in your life, or you allow your participation with it or with a person, you might be uncomfortable and sit with those feelings in the beginning, and it's going to be, it's not going to feel good. But what we're talking about, a week, two, a couple of months, as compared to a lifetime of things that you have accepted that are not good for you, and living in these feelings all the time. Have to weigh it out. You have to weigh it out and feel your way through things. When you know you haven't accepted radical acceptance, your heart and head are going to be in battle. You're going to feel out of alignment. So a lot of people ask me, how do I know that I've accepted less than what I deserve? That's how you know. There's always going to be a battle between your heart and your head, and they're not going to be aligned. You're not going to feel comfortable. There's always going to be this uncomfortability. There's always going to be this sense of restlessness. Like something's not right here, because it's not. It's not. When you truly accept what's for your highest good, your body feels nice and calm. There's peace. There's acceptance. When you have acceptance, you have peace. There's not going to be drama. There's not going to be chaos. There's not going to be uproars. There's just going to be nice and peaceful energy. So observe, and listen to what your body is telling you. Your body will never lead you astray. Your heart and mind need to be in alignment for what's best for you, so your spirit could be at ease. And that's what radical acceptance is all about. And that's the beauty of radical acceptance. That's the gift that it brings you. It's like, if you accept reality for what it is, this is the gift I will be gifting to you. This is what you have a lifetime to look forward to. So if your life is in disarray, you're in distress, you're trying to figure certain things out, start looking at radical acceptance. Start looking at what you're accepting, and start looking at what you are afraid to face. And I will see you in my next one. Love and light, guys. Smooches and hugs to all of you.